Hello and welcome to my channel, Crochet and Copy. My name is Judy. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet this lovely pineapple to hang on your wall. And also, I'm going to give you the background of why I choose a pineapple. My husband got into gardening, and what he wanted to garden was a pineapple. Come to find out, it takes 3 years for a pineapple to actually mature. I did not know that. He did not know that. So we have to wait a couple more years before we could get our pineapple. He made sure he brought it inside the patio so that no critters or bugs could get to it, and he could reap his benefit of his pineapple. It's his little baby, and he has to wait a long time for it. So that's why I created this crochet pineapple. Before we get started, here's the measurement of our project. These are supplies we're going to be using to make our project. The yarn that we're using is from Red Heart Super Saver. In this ball of yarn you have 364 yards. The color is white. It's a medium 4 100% acrylic. And I'll go into more about our yarn, but let's move on with the other supplies. The hook we're using is the 5.0 millimeter. It's also the H8. And we're going to be using a yarn needle, the scissors, and a dowel rod, a wooden dowel rod. This is not the size that we're going to be using, but I'm using this as an example because the size we need is a 1/2 inch. And it needs to be 21.5 inches long. Okay, so it's going to be much longer than this, but this is what I'm using as an example. And my husband was nice enough to cut it down for me for what I need, the size, because when I went in the store I couldn't find the size that I needed, so he just trimmed it down for me. So yeah. Okay, now to go back to the yarn, we're going to be using the white yarn, and everything is the same. It's the same brand, same size. The only difference with the other color yarn we're going to be using is the color. So this one is the bright yellow, and we need 1 ball of our yarn. That's what we need for our project, 1 ball of yarn of each color. Pale yellow. The next one is spring green, and lastly we're going to have the Paddy Green. So these are our color yarn and our supplies we need. So in this project we're going to be using a graph for our pattern to help us guide us, and for this pattern we're going to be using what's called the intarsia method or technique. If I say it wrong, or throughout my tutorial if I do it wrong, please just bear with me. But anyway, moving on. By using that technique, what we're going to do, we're going to put all our tails, because these are what we're going to be needing. We separate our ball of yarn into little butterfly bobbins. And I'll show you how I do that, because we need them, and we're going to try our best to work with it. But we're going to keep all of our tails, because these are all going to be added to the back of our work with our tails. We want the front of our work to be nice and clean, so less to tuck in at the end. And by using the graph, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go with each row. We have how we read it. When you read row 1, you're going to go from right to left with our graph, and then when you get to row 2, you read it from left to right. And then it starts up here. And you see there's no number 2 here to keep us on track. That's what we're going to be working with. And I didn't put this in the supplies, the ruler. It's just my guide, because if you want, and you have a different method of, if you're going to work off the graph or the pattern. And the pattern I'm going to put in the description, so you could check that out. Show you example of what I mean by that. For the pattern, what I did is I actually did rows, and with the rows I tell you how many number of either the white, the bright yellow, or the pale yellow, and so on that you need. For each row you need 15 to start off with row 11 with the white. So it all depends on what you're going to use, but that's why I didn't put the ruler in the supply when we started, but I'm going to use that as we move on. So now I'd like to show you how I do one of the bobbin, how I do it. If I see there's so many different ways people do it, they use cardboard or whatever, you could buy the ones in the store, it's up to you. But I'm just showing you what I do and how I'm going to use it. So I take the yarn, and this is the pale yellow, and the pale yellow is just going to be for our little, I would say, the accent of our pineapple, the body of our pineapple. So I'm just going to do a couple of times around my hand. I'll show you. So I take the yarn and I let part of it have a tail fall to the back, and I'm just going to wrap it around. And of course, my palm of my hand is small, so it all depends on your hand size too, how big and how many times you go over. It'll be a little different than mine. But anyway, I'll show you. So I do it at least, because you see it's not big portion that we're going to use. So I'm going to do it about 30 times around my hand. I'll show you. 1, 2, 29, 30. Okay, so that's good. So now what I'm going to do is just slide it off my hand like that, and I'm going to pinch it in the middle. We're going to, that's why it's called a butterfly, because what we're going to do now is the working yarn that's still connected to the ball of yarn. We're just going to go around a couple of times so it holds it in place. I say I do about 10 times just to hold it in place. It feels nice to you that it's there. And then what I'm going to do now is just take my scissors, cut off a little piece, and then I take my hook and I'm going to turn it so I could grab that tail that I just cut off from the working yarn and pull it through like that. But you see I keep the tail here, I don't pull it all the way through. And then when we start working, we're going to start working with this end. For us to get started, we have to attach our yarn to our hook, and this is the way I do it. If you have a different method of doing the slip knot stitch, you go ahead and use it. I'll show you how I do mine. I take the yarn, I drape it over my fingers, I let the working yarn fall to the back, and I take my hook, go between my fingers and pull up that working yarn that's coming from our ball of yarn, and there you go. I have that little knot. Take that little knot and just tighten it against my hook. And that's how simple it is to do a slip knot stitch. So now our next step is we're going to do the row 1, and with row 1 it's the background color, and that will be our white yarn that we're using. So we're going to have to do 55 chain, and I'll show you how to do a chain. You yarn over your hook, pull through, yarn over your hook, pull through, yarn over your hook, pull through, yarn over your hook, pull through. And that's how simple it is to do a chain. And so far we made 1, 2, 3, 4 chain, and you see they're shaped like a V when you work with them, and that's how you're able to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need 55 of them. I'm not going to show you how to do the others, but just do the same what technique I just showed you, how to make the chain. And then we meet back up when you have 55 chain. And now I did my 55 chain. This is how I look so far. So now we're going to move on with row 1. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the back little bars, the bumps of our chain. That's what we're going to be working in, all right? So the second chain from our hook is what we're going to go into first. So this will be the first chain from our hook, and then this will be the second chain from our hook. So that's what we're going to go in there. And what we're going to do in there is we're going to put 1 single crochet. I'm going to show you how to do the single crochet. So go in the bar, the little bump in the back, and then you're going to pull up a loop of yarn. You have 2 loops of yarn on your hook, yarn over and pull straight across, 2 of them at the same time. There you go. And that's our first single crochet made. And I just want to refer back to it and show you So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stitch marker there. So when I come back around, you can see what I mean. All right. So and you don't lose your spot. If you're starting off the first time, it's good to put a little stitch marker there. I didn't put it in the supply. It's not really necessary if you know how to find it, what to do. That's why I didn't put it in the supply. So now moving on, for each of our other chain that we have till we get to the end, we gotta have to put one single crochet in each of them. So I'll show you again how to do the single crochet. You go into that chain. Remember, we're using the back. Of course, use your fingers to get in there, and yarn over your hook. You pull up that loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and you pull straight across. So that's 2 we did so far, single crochet. Show you another time. Go into that little bump, the bar in the back, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull straight across. Last time I show you, go into that bump in the back, and then you're going to yarn over your hook, pull up a loop, 2 loops in your hook, yarn over, and pull straight across. And there you go. And I'll come back in and I'll show you what I do when I get to the middle of my work. But continue working with that by putting 1 single crochet in each of our chain. So basically I finished doing, I got to like middle of completing the first row. So what I'm going to do is, so I know this is the front of my work. Again, I didn't put this as a supply because it's really not necessary when you know how to do it. But if you don't, this is always good to have, the stitch marker. So what I'm going to do with this stitch marker is just place it around the post of one of my single crochet I just made. So the post of the stitch. So when I come back around, I can work over it, or it's not in my way. So this is considered, the row 1 is considered the front of our work. So I made it to the end of my row, and with the completion of that, you completed row 1, and make sure you have 54 stitches before moving on. You know how to count them. You look at them, the V, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on, so on, so on. Make sure you have 54 at the completion of row 1. Now to start row 2, what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1, and you're going to turn your work. And here what I like to do, I go back to our graph, and we did row 1 with the white, and that's our first row. So I'm just going to put a line through it that we did it. So now for row 2, and all the way up to row 6, all we're going to do is work in the white, the background that we have with the white. And we're going to do the same thing, because this whole pattern just consists of single crochet. So that's all. But the difference is we're going to be working in different color. So you chain your 1, you turn your work, and that first stitch right there, you're going to put 1 single crochet, because that's all we're going to be doing for the whole pattern. We're just going to repeat single crochet in each stitch. And for that first stitch, not for you to lose your spot, you could put a stitch marker there. It's not necessary. If you could find it, you could come back around, but you put one there if you need help. Okay, I'll leave it there for right now, this row. So now you're going to do from here, from row 2 all the way up to row 6. I won't show you how to do it because you've been doing the single crochet. You know how to do the single crochet, because this time now you're working in the previous row we did, and that's row 1 with the stitch. All right, so all you're going to do is put 1 single crochet in each of our stitch till you get to the end of your row. And when you get to the end of the row, where we put that first stitch marker to remind us, remember, before you move on to row 3, you're going to chain your 1 and turn your work for each row when moving up. That's to start the new row. Make sure you chain your 1, turn your work, and then 1 single crochet. And when you finish that, we meet back up at row 6, and at the completion of row 6, make sure you have your 54 stitches. So this is how we look so far when we did up to row 6. And when we did row 1 through row 6, we were working with the yarn from the actual ball of yarn, because we didn't have to change or add the color yarn. So now for row 7, we're going to start using our little butterfly bobbin that we have. And as I complete each row, I like to just give it a little check and move on. So that's for the written one, and then this is for our graph. So you see I have checked off each of the rows I did so far. So now we're at row 7. So I'm just going to move my ruler up as we go, and that's it. So to start row 7, I went ahead and I chained my one and I turned my work, and I'm still working with the yarn that's coming from the actual ball of yarn. So now we're going to do 20 single crochet in the white. So when you get to 19, stop, and then I'll show you how we come, because we have to switch over our color yarn to the bright yellow, and we're going to use the first bobbin we're going to attach. So do up to 19 stitches with the white. And as you see, I didn't put my stitch marker back in because I could find it, I know where it is, but if you need help with it, go ahead and put it back in. Okay, so I did 19 single crochet in the white. So now we're going to, because here we're going to do the change into a bright yellow. So how you do that is you're going to start the single crochet. So you just pull up your loop you have, and now we're going to change our color here. So we take our first little bobbin we have and just pull on it, and we're going to get started. And here too, I wanted to let you know, remember when I told you put that little stitch marker in the center of our work to remind us this is the front of our work. So what we're going to do is keep all our tails in the back of our work. So this is the back of our work, and this is the front of our work. So now to add the new yarn, all you're going to do is put a loop on your hook, and you're going to pull through. And remember, keep that tail to the back of our work. And give it a nice tail so when we weave it in later, we have to do it. So now what you're going to do is you drop the white color yarn that we were previously working with. You keep holding on to the yellow. So we need to do, or the bright yellow, 4 single crochet in the bright yellow. So go ahead and do 4. Okay, you know how to do the single crochet. I just like to start it off. Just want to show you too. And I just like to tug on the yarn that we drop so it holds on to my project and works better. And then give a little more tug on the new yarn that I attach. So we need to do 2 more, but again we have to change back to the white. So here now what you're going to do is do 1 more regular single crochet, and then you're going to start it with the old color yarn being the bright yellow. Remember, stop, and then we grab the white bobbin. We're going to switch to that now. So remember, again, to attach the new color yarn we're working with, just yarn over your hook and pull through. Okay, so we attached the white, and now you're going to do 1 regular single crochet, and then you're going to start but don't finish because we have to switch back to one of the bright yellow. So I grab one of my yellow butterfly bobbin that I have, and I'm going to start using that. So again, same method, keep your tail in the back, the wrong side of our work, and just attach the new yarn. And we're going to just do, you just need 1, and then you switch back to the white. So we're going to grab another bobbin, and we're going to start with the white. Let's do this. We're going to start, and then we grab one of the white, and we're going to complete that stitch with the white. Now we need to do 2 white. So change our color, keep a tail. I'm going to work 1 so I can hold on to it. Regular single crochet, and just pull against it. Not too tight, but enough that my work looks good and holds on while I work with it. Okay, so we need 2, so that's 1. Then we're going to start again with the white. I'm going to stop because we need 4 bright yellow. So grab another bobbin. So I went ahead and changed my color. So now we need 4 of the bright yellow. So we do 1. And of course we stop when we start to do the 4, because we're going to change now to the white back again, and we need 21 white. So I went and changed to the white, and we're going to do 21 white, and that will bring us to the end of our row. So I went ahead and did that for 21 times. This is how it looks. So this is how the front of my work is looking. And we completed row 7. So what I'm going to do is, I like to do, you don't have to do this, but this is for me so I can remember, and then go over to row 7, and I did row 7. And that's how I move on. And now we're going to move on to row 8. Now for row 8, moving on, you're going to chain your 1 and turn your work, and we're still using the white. We need 19 white. So go ahead and do that. But remember, we're going to change now to the 1. We need 1 bright yellow. So you're going to change it at when we're starting to do the 19 single crochet. So you stop at 18. So we're going to meet up there, okay? Do 18 single crochet. So I wanted to show you how I'm going to be changing the color yarn too. When I say that, because I look at the graph, and what I'm doing is row 8, we're starting from here, and that's the wrong side of our work, and then we're moving over here. And as you see, how many of the bright yellow is in our little section right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new little bobbin that we have, the butterfly bobbin. I'm going to start a new one here in the back, because this is what we're doing. We're going this way, and I want to keep all the bright yellow for that section in here with this one. Because what we did is in row 7, we started with another bobbin, but I'm not going to use that for this row 8. You see right there, we're touching here. We're going to use all of the yellow for right here. So now we did the 19 in white, and we need 1 bright yellow. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the working yarn that we were working with, that we're going to drop, and just pull it around our stitches, hold on to it there, and we're going to pick up, and of course, the new bobbin with the bright yellow, and make sure you keep the tail in the back of our work. Just pull up, loop of yarn, there you go, and then you're going to start that stitch, because remember now we go back into 2 white following the pattern. Okay, so start it, and that section will be here with the white in that little right here. So I'm going to grab another white bobbin, and I'm going to start that one there. So now we need 2 white, so we need 1 more in white. So we're going to start it, because we're going to go back to 2 bright yellow. So you start it, and remember, I keep my yarn in the back, and then I'm going to use the yellow, the bright yellow bobbin that I have started already when we did the previous row. So that's row 7. I'm still going to use it. I'm going to pick him up and work with him, but I'm holding on to the yarn that I drop. Keep it there, out of the way, and then just start, because this is the back of our work, remember, and then we're just trying to make the front look nice as we move on. Right, so that's the white, and then we need 2 of them. And of course, we gotta have to change back to 2 white. So I'm grabbing my all yarn I'm going to work with, pull it to the front, remember, of my work, although this is back of my work, but what I'm working with be considered the front right now. And then you just pull up And of course, this is a new white bobbin I started. So we need 2. We need to go here. So we need 1 more, but we're going to change now. Okay, we did the 2 white. We're going to have to switch back to 3 bright yellow. And we have one here that we started from row 7. So I'm not going to start a new one, but use the one that we have. Of course, remember, bring working yarn to the back of our work, under, yarn under, pull through. And give it a little room because it's a little distance. It's just one, well, not a lot of distance, but it's just 1 stitch over. But I just want it not to be too tight or mess up our work in the front. So you work over it. It's my yarn, I have it. And then just complete that stitch. Okay, let's see how it looks in the front. And that's the front, and this is the back. So now we needed 3 of them in the bright yellow. So that's 1, and then this will be a 3rd one, but we need to switch back to a white. Okay, so here we could start getting tangled, so just be careful, okay? Because now we're gonna pull again, pull it to the back, keep our work to the back, and we do have a white that we did from row 7, so we're going to pick him up. We're not starting a new bobbin to complete that single crochet. And then we need 2 white. And remember, you don't complete it because we have to change, go back to, because we did that, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, and now we go back to 2 bright yellow. And then again, I'm using from row 7 where we attach. So pull this in the front, remember, and then just complete. And then we're going to switch back to 2 white. So let's complete this. And then this will be the first one. And we're going to start it. But we're not going to complete it because we have to switch to the white. So now we're working in this little section right here for a graph. And we have to have 2 white. So that's right here. So what I'm going to do, remember when you're going to, because the back of our work, pull the yarn to the back, the tail, that the yarn that we're going to drop, we pull to the back. When I'm starting with a new bobbin, this is a new one for the white, and keep the tail in the back of our work. So I just pull up that yarn. And that's it. So now I completed doing the 2 bright yellow. So now I need 2 white. And then of course we're going to switch back to 1 bright yellow. So start it, hold on to it. You got to switch now back to 1 bright yellow, and that will be here on our graph. I'm going to start a new yellow bobbin, the bright yellow, because we're going to be working in this section here, and that's the start of the first little bright yellow. And here what I'm going to do is the white that I just attached, the new bobbin, pull him and adjust it, because we have the white that we started off with, and this is connected to my actual, I still have it connected to the ball. Okay, so that's what that yarn is. I'll show you when we get there in a minute why I'm telling you that. Hold on to the yarn that we dropped that we're not working with, and now we're going to just start the bright yellow, because we need just 1 of the bright yellow right here and underneath all my spaghetti tails right here. And then we're going to switch back to the white. So pull that to the back. Now I'm picking up the white again. Remember I told you that's connected still to the ball of yarn, my big ball of yarn, and just complete it. And why I did that, because now we're going to do 18 white. Okay, so make sure you do your 18 white, 1 single crochet, and we'll meet back up. So we complete doing row 8, and make sure you have your 54 stitches. So row 9, you're going to chain your 1, turn your work, So to start off with row 9, we're going to do 17 single crochet in the white, but of course we have to change the color. So you're going to do a complete of 16 single crochet, and then the 17 we're going to switch there the color to the bright yellow. Okay, so I'm going to do now the part where I change to the bright yellow, and we have the bright yellow attached here, so I'm going to use that. So now I have to switch back because we're going to do 4 white, and that will be this row right here, right in that little spot right there we have. I'm not going to use the white that I just dropped. There is another white here that we have that's connected, because this white is connected to this big ball of yarn that I still have, but this is from the butterfly bobbin, so I'm going to pick him up. That's closer to there, and then we're going to switch over to change to the white. Drop him, pick up the white to complete it. See? And now we did the 3, so we need 4 white now. So I'm going to change now because we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 of the white. So I'm going to change to the bright yellow, and we're going to do 2. And of course I picked up one of the bobbin that was close to it from row, when we did row 8. So this will be 1. So the next yarn that we need now is the pale yellow, and I abbreviated the PY for the pale yellow yarn, okay, for abbreviation. So we grab a new little butterfly bobbin, and we're going to start with that one. I'm going to attach it, and of course we don't have to pull it to the front because we're in the back of our work, right? And just attach it, yarn, give it a tail. We could tuck it in, and we only need 1 of that, and then we're going to switch back to the bright yellow. So pull it up, let that drop, and pick up the bright yellow that we just dropped that we were working with, and then we complete that stitch that way, pull on it a little bit. It's back of our work, and that's how we look. So we got 1 of the pale yellow. Now we need 2 bright yellow, and then we're going to start it, and then we find the white, and basically that's right underneath that we did from row 8, and we're going to use that white. So now moving on, we need 4 white. Now we switch to the bright yellow, so we need 3 of them. And which of the bright yellow I'm using from the back from row 8 is the one that's by itself. We had started a bobbin just doing 1 of the bright yellow in row 8, so I'm picking that one up, not the one that's underneath from row 8 way over here, but I'm going from here, picking that one up. Stretch a little bit because it's not right over that same stitch, so give it a little bit of room, and then you're going to do 3 of the bright yellow. So that's 1. Start it, but we're going to switch. Now you're going to switch back to the white because we need 18 of them. Do the 18 stitches with 1 single crochet in the white yarn. So we did that for 18 times, and this is how we're looking pretty good, coming out pretty nice. Just got a lot of tails in the back of our work, but so far in the front, wonderful. Now to start row 10, you're going to chain your 1 and turn your work. So that's basically it, what we're going to do when it comes to starting a little bobbin, and when to do the front of our work to make it look nice with no tails, and when we do the back of our work with all our tails to be there. And again, it's just single crochet, and you have to have 54 at the end of each row. And to start the new row, you're going to chain your 1, turn your work. So for row 10, I'm not going to show you detail like I just did for these from row 1 to row 9 how to do it. I'm going to come back in and out with the tutorial, and then you get to see some of it, because that's basically it that we're doing. So now for row 10, I'm going to show you from, because when we did it, for us to crochet, we started here, and then we end off over here. But so we read it from this end. This will be here. We have that white, and then you get to see we match up with the pale yellow, bright yellow, white, bright yellow, pale yellow, bright yellow, and you have that white, and you have the 3 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, and then the following white. So we did that for row 10. So now we're going to start row 11. So you move up here, and then I'll show you how it looks when we do it. Now for row 11, we're going to start from here, and that's how we're going to read it and work our way to the left. So I went ahead and I chained my one and I turned my work. So now I'll show you on the graph and the chart, and also how much we need to do. So what you're going to do is 15 white, it's right here. You're going to do 1 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, and then 3 bright yellow, and then between here you have the 4 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 4 white, and then 3 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow. You end off with the 1 bright yellow, and the background color to end that row will be 16 white. So go ahead and work on that, and I'll go ahead and work on mine too. And this is how our pattern is coming out to be when we're doing row 11. In row 11, we're on the right side, and now we're going to chain our 1, turn our work, and we're going to be working on the wrong side, row 12. So now for row 12, as you see, we don't have any of our pale yellow to use. So what I'm going to do, so I don't have so many little strands of spaghetti coming at me, I'm just going to give it a tail so that we could weave in, but I'm going to cut them off, and then I'm going to start working on row 12. So now for row 12, of course, you chain your 1, turn your work. You're going to do 15 white, 5 with the bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 5 bright yellow, and 14 white. And then we're going to meet back. Now we completed row 12, so we're going to move on to row 13. So now for row 13, what we need to do is we're going to, of course, chain your 1, turn your work, 15 white, 13 the bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 4 white, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, and then 16 white. So we're going to work with that pattern. So let's get started. And then this is how the chart looks, how we're going to do it for row 13. And for row 13, we start here. Now we're going to start row 14, and we're starting from over here with row 14. So you're going to do row 14 with 14 white, and then you're going to go into 1 bright yellow, but you're going to make a new bright yellow, use another bright yellow, the butterfly bobbin to start with, because that starts a whole new section, as you see up there. And then over here you're going to do the same thing too, because it's starting a new section. And we get there, the yellow is all the way, the bright yellow is all the way here, so we don't want to stretch it that far. Okay, so again, let me start over for row 14. 14 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, and then we're going to go into repeating with the 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 3 white, 3 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 13 white, and then you're going to end off with row 14. So go ahead and do that, and I'll work on mine too, okay? And then I'll show you how it looks when we're finished. So now we completed row 14. And at this point, what I'm going to do, I wanted to show you, because we finished row 14, and finishing row 14, and we're going to start row 15. What we're going to do is all the bobbins that we had for the bright yellow from down here, we're not going to pull it all the way up there. So I'm going to find, it's going to take me a little bit, all of the bright yellow that we're not working with now, cut them off. Now we're going to start row 15. You chain your 1, you turn your work. You're going to do 12 white, 3 bright yellow, and 3 white, and then 2 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 3 white, and then 2 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 3 white, 3 bright yellow, and then you end off with 13 white. And that's right between here. That's how it's going to look when you finish. So you're going to read from here 15 over. Now I finished row 15. Let's move on to row 16. Now for row 16, what we need is we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 13 white, 3 bright yellow, 3 white, 3 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 3 white, 3 bright yellow, and 12 white. And that's it. Now we finish row 16. This is how we look. So I'm going to check off here and line it up here and also check off my graph. And that's it for row 16. We're all finished. Let's move on to row 17. Now for row 17, what you're going to do is you chain your 1, turn your work, and you're going to do 12 white. You're going to do 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, and 2 white, 2 bright yellow, and you end off with 13 white. And that's what it looks like here in the pattern. So row 17, and when you do it, you're going to add for the section here, because we're doing this, start this bottom part with the bright yellow, you're going to add here, and you're going to add white here, because when you're working back there wasn't enough, the stretch was too long for the white, so you add another white here, and that's by adding the butterfly bobbin. Okay, and then you're going to add right here too a new bright yellow, because it will cover this section over here. So go ahead and complete row 17, and of course you start from this direction with row 17 going this way. This is how we look when we finish doing row 17. Of course we have the white over here, but it's the pattern I just wanted to show you. And then we have the white over here for the pattern. So I went ahead and I chained my 1 and I turned my work, because I'm going to start working on row 18 now and move across. But what we did earlier when we were working with the pale yellow, we don't have to work with it for a while now. So I'm just going to clean up and cut off what I'm not using. Now for row 18, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, 12 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 5 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, and then 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 11 white we're going to end off with. And of course we're reading row 18 from left to right, and you're right in this little section right here. So go ahead and work on row 18 and complete it, and when I'm finished I'll show you how I look when I complete row 18. This is how I look when I complete row 18. And just to let you know, when you get at this point and at this point, I did add a new white yarn here. Okay, so I added it at this point and at this point. So now we're going to move on to row 19. And of course, row 19, you're going to read it from this way going. Okay, so you're going to have chain your 1, turn your work, and then you're going to have 11 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, and then you're going to add that pale yellow, and you just need 1, 2 bright yellow, 4 white, 3 bright yellow, and then you add another pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 4 white, 2, you got the 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, and then you're going to end off with the 12 white. So go ahead and work on that pattern for row 19, and then we'll meet back up and I'll show you how it looks when I'm finished. This is how I look when I complete row 19. In row 20, we're going to do chain 1, turn your work, 14 white, 2 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, and then 3 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow. You're going to finish off with 13 white. So remember, this is how it is right in there. So go ahead and work with that, and we meet back up and I'll show you how my row 20 look. In completing row 20, we added the bright yellow yarn 3 times. Here, here, and here. So moving on to row 21, you're going to chain your 1, turn your work, 12 white, 4 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 4 white, 3 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 4 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 4 bright yellow, and you're going to end off with 13 white. So you're going to read it from this direction going over. When we finish row 21, this is how we look. So I went ahead and turned my work because we're going to start working on row 22. And for row 22, we start here and we work our way this way. So what I'm going to do, like I did previously, I'm just going to take off all the yarn colors that I don't need, because like you see now we're finished with the pale yellow till we move on to the further rows, and that's what I'm going to do, just clean it up so I could work better with it. Now for row 22, what we need to do is chain your 1, turn your work, 14 white, 5 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 5 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 5 bright yellow, and then you're going to end off with 13 white. So go ahead and complete that and we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I complete row 22. For row 22, I had to add yarn 4 times. So I added for the bright yellow right here, and also for here, the bright yellow. Then I added for white in this area, and I added white for this area. So keep that in mind when you're working. Now to start row 23, you're going to chain your 1, turn your work, 11 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, and then 12 white. So that's the pattern you're going to follow. You're going to start from here and move across, and that's for row 23. So go ahead and complete that, and I'll work on mine too, and then we meet back up. This is how I look when I complete row 23. And for row 23, I added the bright yellow here because as you see it starts a new pattern there, and I also added a white yarn here, and also here I added, because that goes with that section. So 2 times I added the bright yellow, and then 1 time I added the white. So now we're starting row 24, and we're going to start here and we're going to work our way across to over here. And for us, the pattern, you're going to chain your 1, turn your work, 12 white, then you're going to do 1 pale yellow, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, and 11 white, and that's the complete row 24. So go ahead and work on row 24, and when we finish, we're going to meet up. So this is how I look when I completed row 24. So for row 24, I added a white here and I added a bright yellow here. When you work with it, you see it. And also, of course, you know you have to add in the pale yellow at the appropriate part of our pattern. Now the pattern for row 25 is you're going to chain your 1, turn your work, 11 white, 2 pale yellow, 1 bright yellow, 3 white, 3 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 3 white, 2 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 3 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 pale yellow, and you're going to end off with 12 white. So that's the pattern for row 25. And for row 25, we're up here. So you're going to go from this way over across for row 25. This is how I look when I finish row 25. And for row 25, I only added a bright yellow here. For row 26, we need to chain our 1, turn our work, 12 white, 1 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 3 white, 4 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 3 white, 3 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 4 bright yellow, 3 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, and 11 white. And row 26 start from here, and we're going to work our way across. So this is how I look for row 26. And for row 26, I didn't add any new yarn. For row 26, what I actually did though was I actually cleaned it up and I took off the butterfly bobbins that I'm not using so I could move a little better. So you could go ahead and do that. So now for row 27, what we're going to do is we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 11 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 6 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 6 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, and then 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 12 white. And for row 27, we're starting from here and we're going across here. So go ahead and complete row 27, and I'm going to work on row 27 too, and we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I finish row 27. And in row 27, I added 1, 2, 3. 3 times I added the bright yellow. For row 28, what we need to do is we're going to chain our 1, turn our work, 12 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, and 11 white. That's for row 28. And for row 28, we start from here and we work our way over. So go ahead and do row 28, and we work on it together, and we meet back up and I'll show you how it looks when we finish row 28. This is how I look when I finish row 28. For row 28, 3 times I added white at these points. Now we're going to start row 29, and for row 29, you're going to chain your 1, turn your work, 13 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 3 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale, 2 bright yellow, 14 white. And that's for the completion of row 29. And for row 29, we start here and we move across. So go ahead and complete row 29, and when we're finished, we meet back up. This is how I look when I complete row 29. For row 29, I added the pale yellow 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and that's it that I added yarn for row 29. Now we're going to start row 30, and row 30 you're going to chain your 1, turn your work, 13 white, 2 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 4 white, 2 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 4 white, 2 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, and then you're going to finish off with 12 white. And we're working in row 30, so we're going from this direction over this way for row 30. So go ahead and complete row 30 and we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I finish row 30. For row 30, 3 times I added the bright yellow yarn, 1 here, 2nd here, and 3rd here. Also, what I did for row 30, I clean up my area, the section that we're not using the yarn anymore. Now we're going to start row 31, and for 31 you're going to chain your 1, turn your work, you're going to do 12 white, 3 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, and lastly 13 white. And with row 31 we're going from this direction and we're moving across this way. So go ahead and complete row 31 and then we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I complete row 31. To complete row 31 I didn't add any yarn. For row 32 we're going to chain 1, turn a work, 14 white, 6 bright yellow, 4 white, 7 bright yellow, 4 white, 6 bright yellow, 13 white, and that's it for row 32. And we're going to start here and move our way across this way for row 32. So go ahead and complete row 32 and then we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I finish row 32. Also, because I'm in the back of my work, what I did, I went and I cleaned up and I took off these. For row 33, what we need is we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. You're going to do 14 white, 4 bright yellow, 6 white, 5 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, and then you're going to end off with 12 white. And this is for row 33, and for row 33 we're moving this way. So go ahead and complete row 33 and then we meet back up. So this is how I look when I finish row 33. And for row 33 I added yarn, the bright yellow here, and I added a white yarn here, and right here I added a bright yellow. So 3 times for row 33 we added new yarn. Now for row 34, what we're going to do is we're going to chain our 1, turn our work, we're going to do 13 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 4 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, and 12 white. And this is for row 34. So row 34 we're going to go from here this way. So when you finish row 34 we're going to meet back up. This is how I look when I finish completing row 34. For row 34 I added white here in this section, and for here I added a bright yellow for this section, and I added a white in this section, and I added a white here, and I also added a bright yellow here. Now moving on to row 35, we're going to chain our 1, turn our work, and we're going to do 13 white, 1 bright yellow, 6 white, 4 bright yellow, 5 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 4 white, 2 bright yellow, and then 13. We're going to finish off with the white. And we're working on row 35. So row 35, we're going to go from here this direction. So go ahead and complete doing row 35 and then we meet back up. This is how I look for row 35. For row 35, the only color yarn that I added was the pale yellow, and that's it. For row 36, we need to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 13 white. We're going to do 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, and we need to do 3 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 4 white, 2 bright yellow, and we end off with 13 white. And this is for row 36. So for row 36, we're working from here across. So go ahead and complete row 36, and then we'll meet back up. So now this is how I look when I finish row 36. And for row 36, I added a bright color yarn here, and I added, of course, the pale yellow here. And that's it that I added for row 36. Also too, for row 36, this is what I was able to cut off, so I clean up so I could work a little better. For row 37, what we need to do is we're going to chain a 1, turn a work, and you're going to do 13 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 3 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 4 white, 1 bright yellow. Then you're going to end off with 14 white. And this is for row 37. So row 37 is right here. So you're going to work this way across. So go ahead and complete row 37, and then we'll meet back up. So this is how it looks when I complete row 37. And for 37, I added 1 bright yellow right here. And that's it for the section right in there. Now for row 38, what we're going to do is we're going to chain a 1, turn our work. We're going to do 16 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 5 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 4 white, 1 bright yellow, and 14 white. And that's for row 38. And for row 38, we're working this way. So go ahead and complete row 38, and then we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I finish doing row 38. For row 38, I added a bright yellow yarn here, and I added a white here. For row 38, I also went ahead, since we were on the wrong side of our work, and I took off what I wasn't using. For row 39, we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 16 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, and then 15 white. And that's for row 39. And for 39, we're going to start from here, going across. So go ahead and work row 39, and we meet back up. This is how I look when I complete row 39. For row 39, I added bright yellow here, and I added a white in this area, and then I added a bright yellow here, and I added a white here. For row 40, what we're going to do is we're going to do chain 1, turn a work. We're going to do 15 white, 2 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 4 white, 5 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, and we're going to end off with 15 white. And that's for row 40. So row 40, you're going to start here and work your way across. Go ahead and complete row 40, and when you finish that, we'll meet back up. And this is how I look when I finish doing row 40. The only color I added for row 40 was the pale yellow right here. For row 41, what we need to do is we're going to chain a 1, turn a work. We're going to do 15 white, 3 pale yellow, 2 bright yellow, 4 white, 3 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 5 bright yellow, and 16 white. and that's for row 41. And for row 41 we're working this direction. So go ahead and finish up row 41 and we meet back up. And this is how I look when I finish row 41. For row 41 I added a pale yellow yarn here and a bright yellow yarn here and the pale yellow yarn here. For row 42, what we need to do is we need to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 17 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 3 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, and 16 white. And that's for row 42. And row 42 starts here and you work your way across this way. So go ahead and complete row 42. This is how I look when I complete row 42. For row 42, I added the bright yellow here. For row 43, what we need to do is we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 17 white, 3 bright yellow, 4 white, 3 bright yellow, 1 pale yellow, 3 bright yellow, 4 white, 1 bright yellow, and 18 white. And that's for row 43. With row 43 we start from here working our way across. So go ahead and complete row 43 and then we meet back up. This is how I look when I complete row 43. For row 43 I didn't have to add any yarn. For row 44 we're going to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to do 20 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 5 bright yellow, 2 white, 2 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, and 18 white. And that's for row 44. And with row 44 we start from here going across. Go ahead and complete row 44 and we meet back up. And this is how I look when I complete row 44. For row 44 I added a bright yellow here and I added a white here and a bright yellow here and white here. Also for this row 44 I did a lot of cleaning up because we were on the wrong side. Whenever I'm on my wrong side I like to clean up my work, so this is how much I clean up. For row 45 we need to chain 1, turn or work, and we need 20 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 3 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 19 white, and that's it. And we're working from here across. So go ahead and work row 45 and we meet back up. So this is how I look when I finish row 45. At the completion of row 45 I did not add any color yarn. For row 46 we need to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to have 20 white, 4 bright yellow, 2 white, 1 bright yellow, 2 white, 4 bright yellow, 21 white. And that's it for row 46. And for row 46 we're going to work this direction. So go ahead and work on row 46 and then we'll meet back up. So this is how we look when we complete doing row 46. For row 46 we added no yarn. For row 47 we're going to chain 1, turn our work, 24 white, 2 bright yellow, 3 white, 2 bright yellow, and 23 white. And that's it for row 47. And for row 47 we work this way. So go ahead and complete row 47 and we meet back up. So this is how I look when I completed doing row 47. For row 47 I added a bright yellow yarn here and I added a white here. We're doing now row 48, and for row 48 we're going to chain our 1, turn our work, and all we're going to do is do 54 white. And of course row 48 is here and you work your way this way. So go ahead and complete that row and then we'll meet back up. So this is how I look when I complete row 48. Also at this row 48, I wanted to let you know, of course you could go ahead and cut off all of the yellow that we have, the pale yellow and the bright yellow, because we're not going to use them anymore. We're finished with it. So now we're going to be working in this area. So we're going to be start with the, just wanted to let you know, Paddy Green. And this is how we're going to do it for row 49. We're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 25 white and 5 Paddy Green, 24 white, and that's, we're going to be working from here across. So that's for row 49. So go ahead and complete row 49 and then we'll meet back up. Okay, this is how I look when I finish row 49. And for the completion of row 49, of course, we added our new color yarn and we added a white here. Now we're starting row 50. We're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 23 white, 7 Paddy Green, and 24 white. And row 50 starts going this way. So go ahead and complete row 50 and then we'll meet back up. So this is how I look when I complete row 50. For row 50, I didn't add any yarn. For row 51, we're going to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to do 24 white, 7 Paddy Green, and 23 white. And for row 51, we're working from here across. So go ahead and complete row 51 and then we meet back up. This is how row 51 looks when we complete it. And for row 51, we didn't add any new yarn. Now for row 52, you're going to chain your 1, turn your work. You're going to do 22 white, 4 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 4 Paddy Green, and 23 white. And for row 52, we're going to work from here across. So go ahead and complete row 52 and then we'll meet back up. This is how we look when we finish row 52. And at the completion of row 52, the yarn we added was the spring green. For row 53, what we're going to do is we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 22 white, 3 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 3 Paddy Green, and 21 white. And that's for row 53. And for row 53, we're working from here across. So go ahead and complete that row and then we'll meet back up. And this is how I look when I complete row 53. For row 53, I added 2 spring green, 1 here and 1 here. For row 54, we're going to chain our 1, turn our work, and you're going to do 20 white, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 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 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, and you're going to end off with 21 white. So that's for row 54. So you're going to work this way. So go ahead and complete row 54 and then we'll meet back up. This is how we look when we complete row 54. For row 54, we added spring green here in this section and we added spring green here. For row 55, we're going to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to do 20 white, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, and 19 white. And this is for row 55. So row 55, we're going to work from this direction over. So go ahead and complete row 55 and then we'll meet back up. This is how we look when we finish completing row 55. For row 55, I did not add any yarn. For row 56, we're going to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to do 18 white, 1 Paddy Green, 2 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 2 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, and 19 white. And that will be it for row 56. And for row 56, we're working from this direction over. So go ahead and complete row 56 and then we'll meet back up. And this is how I look when I finish row 56. 56. And for row 56, yes, I added a lot of yarn. We went yarn added crazy. Anyway, we added the Paddy Green here. We added the spring green here. We went and added another Paddy Green here. We added a spring green here. We added a Paddy Green here. And then we added a Paddy Green here, spring green here, added a Paddy Green, spring green, and lastly we added a Paddy Green. So that's how many we added. For row 57, what we need to do now is we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 17 white, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 4 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 4 Paddy Green, and 4 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, and we finish off with 16 white. And this is for row 57. So for row 57, we start and we work our way across this way. So go ahead and complete row 57, and then we meet back up. This is how I look when I complete row 57. For row 57, we added a Paddy Green yarn here. We added the spring green here, Paddy Green here, spring green here, Paddy Green here, spring green here, and spring green here, and then finally white we added here. For row 58, what we need to do is we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. You're going to do 14 white, 6 Paddy Green, 1 white, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 1 white, 6 Paddy Green, and then 15 white. And that's for row 58. So row 58, we go from here across. So go ahead and complete row 58, and then we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I complete row 58. For row 58, we added the Paddy Green here, we added a white here, and we added a white here, and we added a Paddy Green here. Since we were on the wrong side of our work, what I did, I went ahead and just clean up the yarn that I am not working with. Now moving on to row 59, what we're going to do, we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 14 white, 2 Paddy Green, 6 white, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 6 white, 2 Paddy Green, and 13 white. And this is for row 59. So for row 59, we start from here and we work our way across. So go ahead and complete row 59, and then we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I complete row 59. For row 59, we added Paddy Green here, we added the white here, we added a spring green here, and Paddy Green here, spring green here, Paddy Green here, Paddy Green here, and white here. That's for row 59. For row 60, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to do 20 white, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 3 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 1 white, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, and 21 white. And that's for row 60. In row 60, we're going to work across this way. So go ahead and complete row 60, and we'll meet back up when we finish that. This is how I look when I finish row 60. So for row 60, I added the Paddy Green here, the spring green, Paddy Green, white, and the spring green. And also too, because we were on the wrong side for row 60, I went ahead and I cleaned up. For row 61, what we're going to do is we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 20 white, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 3 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 3 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 3 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, and 19 white. and that's for row 61. So row 61, you're going to start here and work across. So go ahead and complete row 61, and then we'll meet back up. This is how we look when we finish row 61. For row 61, we added the Paddy Green, we added spring green, Paddy Green, and we added a white. Now moving on to row 62, what we're going to do, we're going to chain our 1, turn our work, we're going to do 18 white, 3 Paddy Green, 2 white, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 3 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 2 white, 3 Paddy Green, 19 white. And that's for row 62. And row 62, we're going to work across this way. So go ahead and complete row 62, and then we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I complete doing row 62. For row 62, we added a white, and we added a Paddy Green, we added a white, and being that we're on the wrong side with row 62, what I went and did also too, I went ahead and cleaned up. For row 63, we need to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to do 17 white, 3 Paddy Green, 3 white, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 1 white, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 3 white, 3 Paddy Green, and 16 white. And this is for row 63. And for row 63, we're going to start from here and we're going to work across. So go ahead and complete row 63, and then we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I complete row 63. For row 63, we added the Paddy Green, we added white, we added a white, and we added a Paddy Green, and a Paddy Green, and a white. Now for row 64, we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 22 white, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 3 white, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 22 white. And that's for row 64. So at row 64, we start from here and we work our way across. Go ahead and complete row 64, and then we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I complete doing row 64. For row 64, we added a spring green, we added a Paddy Green here, we added a Paddy Green here, a spring green here, and we also added the white yarn. Being that I'm in the back again, on the wrong side of my work, I went ahead and I clean up. Moving on to row 65, we're going to chain a 1, turn a work. We're going to do 22 white, 1 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 2 Paddy Green, 3 white, 2 Paddy Green, 1 spring green, 1 Paddy Green, 21 white. And that's for row 65. So at row 65, we're going to work our way across this way. So go ahead and complete row 65, and then we'll meet back up. So for the completion of row 65, this is how we're looking. And for the completion of row 65, we added a spring green, we added a Paddy Green, and we added a Paddy Green. For row 66, we need to chain a 1, turn a work. We're going to do 21 white, 3 Paddy Green, 5 white, 3 Paddy Green, and 22 white. And that's it for row 66. And for row 66, we're going to start here and move across to this direction. And go ahead and complete row 66, and then we'll meet back up. This is how I look when I complete row 66. For the completion of row 66, I added no yarn. Yeah! Also wanted to let you know that for row 66, I went ahead and I took off the spring green because we're not going to use the spring green anymore. Now for row 67, what we're going to do is we're going to chain our 1, turn our work. We're going to do 21 white. We're going to do 3 Paddy Green, 7 white, 3 Paddy Green, and 20 white. And that's it for row 67. And with row 67, we're going to start and work our way towards this direction. So go ahead and complete row 67 and then we'll meet back up. This is how I look at the completion of row 67. And at the end of row 67, I did not add any yarn. Now for row 68, we're going to chain a 1, turn our work. We're going to do 19 white, 2 Paddy Green, 11 white, and 2 Paddy Green, and 20 white. And that's it for row 68. And for row 68, we're going to start in this direction and move across this way. And go ahead and complete row 68 and we'll meet back up. And this is how we look for row 68 when we complete doing it. For row 68, we added white here and we added a Paddy Green here. And that's it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut off all of my little butterfly bobbin that I don't need. I'm just going to cut them off. We're not going to work with them anymore. Because now for the remainder of our pattern, all we're going to do is we're going to work rows of single crochet with our white yarn. So now for row 69 to row 79, I'm not going to show you how to do it because all we're going to do is just do 1 single crochet in each of our stitch till we get to the end. And you know we're supposed to have our 54 at the completion of each row that we have, because we're not adding or decreasing any of our stitches. So you're going to do that for row 69 all the way to 79. Just do 1 single crochet in each stitch and we'll meet back up at row 79. So I made it up to row 79 and this is how I look when I complete doing row 79. So I chain my 1 and I'm going to pull up a nice size tail. I'm going to pull up about 60 inches because we need that for our next part, and I'll show you how we do it because we're going to sew on the wooden rod now. So I went ahead and I attached my yarn needle to my yarn. So I have the wooden rod and I'm going to center it to the, as you see, the size of it, trying to get it in the tutorial. So I'm going to center it and I'm going to wrap it around the last rows that we just crochet, about I'll say 5 rows around it, and we're going to sew on the wrong side. Start at this end. So I'm going to just take my yarn needle and I want to come out to the front of my work. Go to the side, pick up, there you go, like that. So we're going to hold on to it as we sew and we cover over the rod, right? Now I'm going to go back. I don't want my stitches to show, as we're trying our best to make it look nice. So I'm going to for right here, and then we're going to go come back. I'm going to find that first single crochet right there from the last row we did. I just want to anchor this part in. Okay, I think that's good enough. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use the last row, the single crochet, and try to go through center of the stitch. I'm just using the regular sewing method to do it, and that's all we're going to do. So I'm not going to show you how to do the other till we get to the end, I should say, till we get to the other end. But you go ahead and you do that, and then we meet back up, all right? Now I made it to the end, and I have one last stitch I want to come back so I could weave it in. I just wanted to show you how I weave it in. That's all. So I'm just going to go around a couple of the stitches. Okay, so that's it. So I'm just going to cut that off. I just wanted to show you this is the wrong side. The side I sewed on, how it looks. And this is how the front of our work look. So now the next step we need to do is to make the hanging cord. And I showed you earlier how to do the slip knot stitch, so go ahead and do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to chain 70. But before you start your chain, make sure you leave a nice long tail. I left about 12 inches. and also when you fasten off, because we're going to use it to sew. So I went ahead and attached the chain that we made to one side, and I'll show you how to do the other side. But I just want to show you, when we do it, we're going to try to keep it straight. So I'm going to hold on to it, and then I'll show you how to attach it to the other side. This is the top of our wooden rod. So I'm going to try to line it up with the other side. I already did, as we go on, as we sew it. Okay, so that's all we're going to do, is just going to attach it. And I'm going to go like 2 stitches in. And I'm working with my left hand, so I'm just showing you what I can't work too well with my left hand, but I'm just trying to show you as best as I can at the tutorial how it's going. All right, and that's all we're gonna do. But of course, you do it as much time as you feel comfortable and it feels nice for you. I'm gonna work on mine, but that's all we're gonna do. Just sew it on that way, okay? And then we meet back up. Now I want to show you how to add the fringe. When we do, we're using the bottom of the single crochet that we started with, and we're going to skip. When we put it in, we're going to put it here, and then we're going to skip that single crochet. We go to the next one. All right, so I'll show you. So what I did is I'm using the spring green yarn, and I cut, well, I'm not going to show you how to cut them, but what I did, I'm going to tell you what I used. I have a little stepping stool, it's a little chair, and I just wrap it in the back of it a couple of times. And then I got, this is 20 inches. Okay, so try to keep them even when I cut it, 20 inches. So we need 3 to do the fringe. So then I divide it in half, hold on to it, and then use crochet hook and go right into that. Stitch right to that single crochet, and then you hold on to the 3 strand of the spring green yarn on your hook and pull it through. And then what you're going to do is just grab it, pull it, because we want to make a little knot. And of course you would go ahead and tuck that in, but I just wanted to show you this so we could get started with it. Move on. So that's it. That's how you add on a fringe. I'll show you another time. Okay, hold on. Let me get another set of 3 of them. Okay, so I have 3 again, 3 strands of the spring green. Divide it in half. Hold it. Remember, skip that one. Go to the next stitch. And hold on to it. And then, of course, when I'm pulling, I'm just going so I don't lose them underneath. Pull up, grab it, and then tighten that little knot. And that's it. That's all we're going to do to put on the fringe. And of course, when we finish, they're not going to be even. So what you need to do is to even them out, okay? So you're going to cut off and even them out. Now, basically, this is the last part. And yes, I saved this to the last part, but this is the last thing we need to do, because it's like our friend, but it's actually our enemy, because who wants to actually, you know, tuck in and clean up all of this? But anyway, it got us where we needed to be. And to tuck in the end, there is no like specific spot. I'm going to tell you where to go. Okay, just pick any spot you want to start with, because we got to clean them up and we got to make them look nice. Okay, so I'll show you how I do mine, and you go ahead and you have to do all the others. All right, so what I'm going to do is going to stay between the color that's attached when I'm going to tuck in, all right, or hide my tail. I'm going to keep it within that color. And when I tuck in my ends, I don't want it to mess my work that I did in the front, or to show in the front. So try our best again to make it look nice as we work. Go on a couple stitches, go in different direction. Well, that's all I'm doing, going to go in different direction as we tuck them in. And I think that's nice. That's secure right there. Okay. And don't clip the others because sometimes they're closed. And that's it. So now you're going to go ahead and do that for all of our friend that we have, but it's not our good friend. Okay, that's it. We're all finished. I'm going to try my best to show you everything in the camera frame in the tutorial. And this is the front of the work. I think it came out really lovely. We did awesome work. We did nice job. Hold on, let me turn it. And these are our fringe. And of course, if you want to use a different color yarn to do the fringe, you could go ahead and do that. This is just what I use, and I wanted to show you how I did. And this is the back of our work. Yeah, it took us a while to do tuck in all our ends, but we did it, and the work paid off. Makes it look really nice. So that's it. We're all finished. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Bye-bye.